Hey folks, Stephen Lucky here, Gardopia Gardens, with the very first ever in the history of the planet Chief Talk. And this is something that we're doing to continue to engage our supporters and our members here in the Garden Army. So, as we begin Chief Talk, I have some amazing folks with us, the two chiefs of Gardopia, in addition to me, who are going to introduce themselves. So, Dom, take it away, man. Who
Yeah.
are you?
Who's this guy? My name is Dominic Dominguez, and I am the Chief Operating Officer of Gardopia Gardens. And it's been a privilege to support Gardopia really back as a great volunteer in 2015 to where we are today. And to see the work supported and uplifted all over San Antonio and the movement that we're making together is so valuable. So it's such a privilege to continue our work together. My background is in environmental science. I have a master's in sustainability and development, and then I'm a doctorate student at the University of UTSA, studying UTSA, studying environmental science and engineering. But all that's fun, but what's really great is the good work that we're doing here day in and day out.
Thanks, Dom. Sherry?
Hi, my name is Sherry Lim, and I am the Chief Learning Officer for Gardopia Gardens. I am excited to be going over a year with Gardopia, I guess almost a year and a half. And I am actually coming out of teaching for about 17 years, and so I'm still in education, so this is my 18th year of teaching, and I taught mostly science, and I actually met Stephen in my classroom. I invited him to come speak to my students, my seniors, for my AP Environmental Science class.
Back in the TMI days.
Yes, and I was hooked after his talk, and he toured our garden, and I just fell in love with his purpose. And now I am a part of his purpose. And I also have a background in sciences. I'm a biology student from UT Austin. And then I got my master's in curriculum and yes, I know, I miss Austin. Got my master's in curriculum and instruction. And then, and I'm here now, and I'm enjoying this. I'm also privileged to work with Gardopia, and I've just seen it grow and grow. We are, like you said earlier, we're in our 9th year.
9 years, hard to believe. 2015.
Yes.
Dom was just volunteering down at Ella Austin.
You too.
doing some
This
good
guy was
work.
volunteering
There was
too.
a lot of volunteers. Some of
Volunteers
y'all were,
of
some
the
y'all
year.
were volunteering for sure.
Yeah,
That's
for
right.
many.
Well, we just wanted to lay that groundwork just so people who know who y'all are, and of course some of y'all maybe already do. You can go to our website to learn more about them, but now that we've that groundwork, we want to talk a little bit about 23-24 reflections. We just ended our last year, which went from May 20th of 2023 to May 20th of 2024. So our birthday was on Monday. And so here we are now in our 9th year as an organization. We've had ups and downs. It hasn't been easy, but we're still alive. We're still growing. And so, Sherry, you started off as our lead educator and then transitioned in September to our Chief Learning Officer. And Dom, you were with us this past summer as well, moving into this entire year. So are there some things that y'all reflect on that were really big moments for you as Gardopia did our work this past year?
Yeah, so it first it warms me to think about all of the support that comes from making San Antonio a healthy place through gardening. And it can't be done alone. It has to be done with multiple people coming together. That's everybody from the school community to our neighborhoods to stakeholders from NPOs and business. And what I think about it, and this happens every year, one of our core programs is the Garden Volunteer Program, and it's where individuals can come out on a Saturday from 9 to 11 and engage with our educators and our stewards team, and they can learn how to garden and then steward a location. That can either be here at Gardopia or at one of the over 50 educational sites that we work with. And so it's warmed my heart because every single year that Gardopia continues to grow as an organization, more and more support is created. And what does that do? That really provides more impact out to the communities. So whether we're at Frank Madla or we're at a library or Essence Prep or Young Women's Leadership Academy Primary, wherever it be, right? What we've seen is different individuals and community groups from all over, not just San Antonio, but really over Texas come together and show that volunteerism and why it's important. To just say a few names, we had a school that came up from Dallas that came and visited us. We had our San Antonio Spurs. We had HEB. We had Highland Homes, Nerd Power, Ernst & Young. There's so many that come out to support, and I'm a data person for all of you guys who are here, and to come from where we were last year, which was around $140,000 worth of in-kind volunteerism, to this year, I know that it was a tremendous amount more. So stay tuned for our annual report in the next few months to drop. You're going to see an incredible surge of volunteer in-kind value. That's coming to our community. That's coming to grow healthy fruits and vegetables for people to consume and really change the system. So that really warms my heart as a reflection.
Yeah, no, the Garden Volunteer Program is huge. Every Saturday we're here. You know, if it's raining cats and dogs,
you'll be here.
Yeah, usually, or myself or another educator
Yeah.
will be here. And I think about it, I made a post about it, Winter Storm Uri, like it came on February 14th. We made a call out for volunteers on February 13th on that Saturday morning. It was like 32 degrees, the temps were dropping. We were, still here. So I think it's over 450 weekends in a row without inclement weather that we've been able to come out and have volunteer days here. And then it's morphed, right, into going during the weekdays. Ernst & Young, they have their Ripples program where they're trying to impact 1 billion people on this planet. And so they come out 100, 150. So last June, we celebrated Ernst & Young's 100-year anniversary at Winston Intermediate as well as at Huppert's Elementary. And we planted 100 trees, right? So that's just one example of many of what's possible. The mission continues, right? We got to give a shout out to them. They do 9/11. We had a huge event for MLK. They've done Earth Day, just so many opportunities.
Yeah.
So volunteerism is huge.
What really gets me is seeing the university students come out. I know that's saying a lot. While I love our corporate partners, really I do. I love seeing university students come out and show schools, because so many times when we're at a school, we'll be having elementary students that are volunteering there as well. But there's an old saying, they become what they see. So when they see university students that are there, they are seeing people who they're going to be in the near future. And that really says a lot to myself as an educator and to just the community in thinking about this natural progression. I'd have to say it also warms me to think about that the volunteer days are a community promise. They're a community promise, like we're going to be here. It's going to be consistent. Rather than, weather time, when it's raining cats and dogs, he'll be here. But in thinking about that, it's our promise to the community to say we're going to be consistent here, and it's important. People value it.
What about you, Sherry? What's something you reflect on over this past year?
So I remember one of the first conversations we had about the schools that we were at, and y'all were talking about cohort 2, and never did I know that it would actually happen where we added 20 plus more schools, and now we're double of the schools that we're at. And so I got really excited to see our numbers and the amount of students that we're impacting and the amount of schools that we're impacting. So we have over 20 more schools, and hopefully we'll have 20 more next year. I don't know. And so I was really just reflecting on that. I was also reflecting on this greenhouse, because without this greenhouse, we would not have the plants to our schools. And so it's been a great help to have a greenhouse there. But
yeah, so I think of COVID, we were like in 5 schools, and then the USDA Farm to School grant in 22-23 with Young Women's and SAISD. I think really was a waterfall moment for other districts and in general schools say, we really need to be investing more into this. So that took us to about 15 schools. And then, like you said, we just added cohort 2, which Sherry taught at every cohort 2 school. That was 10 schools. She took on all those 10 schools, coordinating, working with those teachers. And that's really, I think, where our impact is the highest, because we're so consistent. We're teaching those youth. They're learning science. They're learning math. They're learning social emotional learning, right? And then aside from that, we're working with Edgewood ISD in Tamusa. We're working with South San and Frank Madla, working with Southwest and Hidden Cove, right? We're working with SAISD, working with NEISD, working with different charter schools, just so many youth throughout the entire city of San Antonio. And I believe last time we looked at it, 95% of our schools are in the inner city within Loop 410. We do have some gardens that are outside of that, and our mission is to make sure that we are filling the gap and the need. And I know when I was a kid, I didn't have one gardening class. I may have planted that pinto seed, or that pinto bean seed, and probably took it home and it died,
Yeah.
and that was sort of the end of it. So many of my friends, and we talk about these generations, the baby boomers, generations X, Y, and Z, which are the 20-year-olds right now, did not receive a lot of education on the environment and food literacy, and we're bringing that back. So, as you said, we expanded, couldn't do it without you. That's actually why we brought on a chief learning officer. When we knew we were going to have this huge growth, we were like, all right, this right here is a job in its own, focusing on garden-based learning, and that's it, right? And so you have filled that need for us amazingly. Thank you for, and she's also a chicken whisperer. She's a vermicompost whisperer. She's a chef, pretty much jack of all trades, master of many.
Bee guru.
Yeah, now she's helping with the bees as well.
I love it.
Just
What's your favorite small livestock? Would you say chickens?
Oh,
rabbits.
man. Oh, that's a
She's
hard
like,
question.
it's
Bunnies.
actually
She also likes
goldfish.
bunnies too.
I love chickens. I don't know what it is, but chickens. They give you
When did
so
you get
much.
your first chicken?
oh boy.
So I actually went to the feed store in high school. Didn't tell my parents. They actually didn't care. But I bought 3 baby chicks from the feed
Yeah?
store, and I raised all of them, and I would take one by one each to tennis competitions because I played a lot of tennis in high school, and I was actually, our mascot was a phoenix. And so the chicken became,
Phoenix the chicken?
yes, the chicken became our mascot.
Did you have like a little container for
I
it?
did, I
Yeah?
did.
Okay. And so when it's your match, just somebody needs to watch Phoenix?
Yeah.
That's right, that's right. I would have my
Alright.
tennis teammates watch the chicken or take her out.
Was it a rooster or it was a hen?
They were all 3 hens. Yeah,
3
they
hens.
were Rhode Island Reds. So,
All right.
I don't know what drew me to get the chicken, but
You were just like, I'm going to buy these baby chicks.
that's right.
And so now we are working, sort of projecting into the future with Turner Construction. So stay tuned. We'll probably talk about that in our July episode, and you'll be able to see an amazing creation thanks to the Food and Wine Alliance, which we received a grant to redo our chicken coop. So stay tuned on that. Let's transition, y'all. 2023, 2024 was a great year. Like Dom said, look out for the annual report. It'll be on our website. It's going to have a ton of great information, full of data, telling you what we are doing in our city. But June is right around the corner. When you're watching this, it might already be June. So we have some things that are happening, starting out with the Pearl. What's going on with the Pearl, Sherry?
So we have our Pearl Farmers Market. We'll have a booth out there on June 8th. And we love being out there. I love socializing with the public, and I just love everybody who comes out and buys local. We usually sell plants. You give a lot of educational information on gardening, and some more information on Gardopia as well. But come see us on June 8th at the Pearl Farmers Market.
And that'll be from 9 to 1. We're in different locations. In May, we were by the Lick ice cream. There's like a little water fountain. It's actually nice because the water makes it a little bit cooler
Yes.
in that
There you
area.
go.
So we'll probably have a gardening activity. Stay tuned. Usually it's on our website if you go to the bottom of our homepage, or go to gardopia.eventbrite.com to learn more about the Pearl Farmers Market. Also on that website, you can learn about Juneteenth. So we're doing a pop-up market supported by Metro Health. And historically, we have celebrated Juneteenth and the summer solstice, which are very close to each other. And so, of course, as a BIPOC-founded organization, it's important to celebrate Juneteenth for us. But in addition to that is a changing of season as well. So we'll be moving from our spring season to our summer season. So it should be a great event. We'll have, bouncy houses. We'll have local vendors. We'll have music. We'll have food. I just talked to a graphic designer who's going to be doing some activity of helping people make their own t-shirts. We have a new piece of artwork that we'll be releasing for the t-shirts on Juneteenth as well. So that'll be here at Gardopia from approximately 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Hopefully the weather is good, but if not, bring your sweat towels because we know it gets a little toasty in June. And what else we got going on as we in in spring, Dom?
Yeah, so we conclude our spring grow-a-thon. So the spring grow-a-thon is a call to action in really encouraging all of San Antonio and Bexar County to grow food. These are things such as counting how many eggs you have, how much compost you've diverted from the waste or the landfill, but then my personal favorite, which is the growing and weighing the pounds of organic fruits and vegetables. And so this call to action is for all people. And I have to say, my parents absolutely loved it. They've been participants for many, many years. And it gets people outside and excited about growing food, because at the end of this, we'll go in and we'll award prizes. Who doesn't like a good opportunity to get a little bit of acknowledgement? It's been a minute since I've looked at the prizes, but these are things like gift cards to a particular type of store to purchase more, tools or whatever it would be. This is also, soil drop-offs, or I think one year we did curriculum, and then, a garden-based learning class or something like that.
So this year the prize is $750.
Okay, there you go.
Last year was $500. We had some great winners.
Yeah.
Do you remember who the winners were?
So the winner of the spring Growathon, it was Ruthie and James Weaver. And so this is another great thing about the Growathon is it just doesn't end with the prize, y'all. You will then be acknowledged at our annual awards gala. So last year we had our annual awards gala in fall. I believe it was in October, if I recall. God, my brain, guys. This year we're looking towards the fall again to have a really great time to celebrate not only the winner of the spring Growathon, but other awardees such as like School Garden of the Year or Urban Ag Business. Yeah, there's multiple ones that are there. But in thinking about this, while we are encouraging local food production, that's really at the heart of it. And so when you think about square footage, how much can a family grow at their home? That's what it's about, right? And so out of all the food that's produced in San Antonio or Bexar County, how much of that is actually, how much are we growing per family? How much are we growing per square footage? It's a small amount.
Most
it's a
people
small
aren't
amount. Yeah. But we know
99.99% of San Antonians probably don't grow.
we know that it's important, and we know that it can be done because you look at the Victory Garden Initiative.
Yep.
And
Victory Gardens.
There it is.
Yeah,
Yep,
shout
that's
out
another
to
big
ARV.
one. ARV, if you're here.
Alianzas Raíces Vivas. We
Yeah.
put in 5 Victory
That's
Gardens
correct.
this spring.
We did a lot, y'all, in this past year. But again, I would encourage everybody, if you're still out there and growing, continue doing that. Prepare for next year. It gives us a way to quantify and know how much that we're growing locally. And that is so powerful when we're thinking about systems change and movement change and encouraging that, not just for the current moment, but for future generations to come. It's an important thing when we're talking about the amount of food miles, the nutritional value, CO2 that's up in the atmosphere, and being able to address all of that, the environmental degradation, and also looking in increasing our food supply through food security and nutritional intake.
I saw today that food insecurity is continuing to rise in Texas, in San Antonio, where approximately 16% of San Antonians are food insecure. So we know that we can't grow all of our food, but could we grow 16% of it and help some folks? And not only help folks, but improve the health of our community, right, is really key. So we got a lot happening. That ends on 6/20. You can enter the data on our website if you go to programs, and then we have our link that goes directly to the Spring Growathon. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, y'all, because I know y'all got things to do, you got lives to live. But before we do, I want 2 summer gardening tips. Who's going first?
I guess I'll go first. So I highly recommend, if you get a lot of sun like I do, is getting a shade cloth to cover some of your veggies. And so I recommend about 40% if you have really strong shade. But I think most
strong
people,
sun.
strong sun, yes, but you can also get a 20% shade cloth or even a 10%, but anything will help just
50%, 90%?
No, don't get 90%. You need sun for your plants to do photosynthesis, and so that's one of my tips. The other one would be Oyas. If you don't have access to water, definitely try to get an Oya or some clay pots, and you can fill them with water so your plants have more options for water.
Shout out to Josh Grow Oya out in Vancouver. We're
He's
using
there,
your
yeah.
Oyas, man.
What's up, Josh?
Thanks to you for the donation. It's going great. You know, we actually did a fundraiser once for a GoFundMe. Thank y'all for your support. And we put up these big 6x6 posts, and we actually put a shade cloth over the entire garden. So I bought a 50x20 shade cloth most summers, and it works pretty well. Eventually it will deteriorate a little bit. This one's been hanging on for a while. Y'all can't see it, but behind y'all is I think that's a 50, that might be a 90% shade cloth. It's pretty heavy because we want to get as much shade as we can on the stage. All right, what about you, Dom?
People always ask, what do you grow in the summer when we're dealing with temperatures that are 100 to 110 to 115 at sometimes? And it's really important to lead with education, and that's so valuable. So people say, can I grow lettuce? Can I grow spinach? Unfortunately not. So what you're thinking about looking at are really our plants that love the heat. So your melons are really good. Go ahead and lay down the watermelons, lay down the cantaloupes. Your okra is so valuable. You put okra in the ground, this is your time. You're gonna be the best okra farmer ever. I would also say squash is really, really good. Start it from seed, put it in the ground, make sure you have consistent water, use your shade cloth to limit the amount of evapotranspiration or water loss that's happening from our sun. So squash is good, and then also basil. So
Man, basil loves the heat.
yeah, basil loves the
does
heat.
really good.
I can't say enough. I love to make a good basil pesto, and then I love to have delicious pizzas. So you're right at the end of tomato season. If you have your shade cloth, you might be able to get away with a little bit of tomatoes. But those that I recommended, again, your watermelons, your cantaloupes, your okra, your squash, your basils, those are going to be the ones that I feel you put them in the ground, you're going to be more or less successful and be able to have something, you know, super delicious on the outside.
Yeah, those are good ones. People always wonder, can you grow in Texas in the summer? But you can. People can start their pumpkin patches for October.
Yep.
You can't plant your pumpkins in October and expect to have them by Halloween. So get those started sometime in July. And peppers also.
Yeah.
I feel like the hot peppers do better,
Yeah,
right? Like the
they do.
cayenne and
Yeah,
the
I'd agree.
serrano. And then southern peas.
Oh yeah, peas.
Purple whole
Yep,
peas, crowder peas,
Yep,
cow
bush
peas.
beans as well.
beans,
Some
yeah,
bush beans
yeah.
do good.
So y'all have your plates full, hopefully literally and figuratively. Thank you for tuning in to the very first ever in the history of the universe, Chief Talk. Until next time, keep it growing, Garden Army. Adios.